Hey everybody, this is Craig from the Church of Quail Creek, and I wanted to shoot a video to you today and just talk with you a little bit about our family meeting that we had on Sunday afternoon. First of all, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that I missed it. I've been a little under the weather with some sinus junk, and so I'm going to do my best to get through this video and not cough and see what we can do. But I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to Kyle and to Scott and Bridget and to Tom Spencer and all those that helped with the family meeting on Sunday. It's not easy to jump in and try to run a meeting that you didn't plan. And so in my absence and everything that happened on Sunday, I just want to say thanks to that team. Man, I was watching online and I was really excited to see what all happened and to see how that all went. The next thing is, thank you so much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for engaging in that conversation. I was sitting at home and man, it was just exciting. I couldn't tell exactly how many people were in the room, but they said we had over 90 people in the room on Sunday, and we had 50 more online, and so that is just super exciting. That is by far the most participation we've had in some of these meetings in a long, long time. So thank you. Thanks so much for being a part of that. I wanted to come to you today and ask and answer a few questions that you guys had asked during that meeting. The first one is about the budget. We presented 20 and 21 budgets. I'll tell you, budgeting this year was a different kind of deal. Thank you so much if you've been a part of our finance team, a part of our personnel committee, a part of our staff that has really worked on these budgets. The year 2020 has been unlike anything we've ever seen. We weren't even in the building half the year. We had no expenditures in lots of areas, and it is a different kind of beast to try to come up with a budget in this process when we really had absolutely nothing to go on. And so it's a very difficult task. We met that task by just trying to do what we could to maintain the same budget that we did last year. We ended up coming up $13,000 under last year's budget through some different things that were done. And so this is an exciting budget. We're really excited about what was put before you. And so one of the things that came up was asking about some expenditures for the year. Like we said, 2020 is a different looking thing when it comes to finances. And so I have included in this email that we're going to send this video out in, I've included a simplified version for you to be able to take a look at our expenditures. Your giving has continued to remain faithful. Thank you so much for continuing to give. We've worked very hard as a staff and as a church to stay inside that giving. We're actually stronger financially going into December this year than we've been in several years. And so thanks for your giving. Take a look at those numbers. If you have any questions, we do have a big, full, detailed expenditure list by departments and all of that stuff. If you are interested in that, just shoot me an email. But hopefully this simplified version will help you be able to see kind of where we stand as a church. And so we're real excited about that. Our staff's been working very hard, and so thanks for asking those questions. One of the other questions that came out of that budget discussion was really a discussion about missions and how we're doing missions these days. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've taken a shift in our missions. We've tried to ask the question, what does it look like if we did more in our everyday budget, more in the monies that you guys have already given to do consistent mission work, as opposed to having to come to the church body every time we see a need, try to raise up some funds. That's just inconsistent, and we may give good to some things and bad to other things, and we're trying to just maintain that consistency. So what we've done is we've added some lines in our budget to help us pre-fund some of those missions endeavors. We've tried to just make the most out of our budget. You'll see those local, those international, those national mission line items. We use them all through the year. And then you guys, on top of that, we ask you to give to missions. You can give to missions all year long. And a lot of you do, and we're so thankful for that. In this same email on that document, I've given you everything that we have given money to missions-wise up to December 1st. We've given over $50,000 away to different missions partners this year. Just this last week, we gave $800 of groceries away to different families that needed help during this Thanksgiving season. And so you guys just continue to faithfully give. Now, if you're one of these people and Christmas to you is that you break out your checkbook and you write a check to Annie Armstrong or to Lottie Moon, and that's part of your Christmas traditions, your Easter traditions, go ahead and keep doing that. All of those monies that come in for those Lottie Moon and Annie Armstrong offerings go directly to that. We just try to make sure that we're funding it out of everyday gifts as well. And so you'll see that some of those line items show a little bit of a reduction is what it looks like. And what it really is we did not see an opportunity to spend most of those monies this year through 2020. And so we've just reduce that because we already have money sitting in that bank account. So we're not decreasing the amount of missions in any way. We are just looking at that and balancing year to year. And so we want to ask you, any point in time, you can always give to missions, and we will make sure that it goes exactly where your heartbeat tells it to. And we're just trying to make sure that we do a good job year over year of staying consistent with our missional giving. So I hope that answers your questions. If it doesn't, feel free to reach out and we'll go through that a little bit more. And we're real excited to include that list of all the things that we've given money to this year. We've been able to help some different people, and a little bit more even this year with Corona. And so we're just we're thankful for you and thankful for the opportunity to serve. The last thing that we want to discuss is this bylaw vote. The recommendation came from trustees and stewardship that one policy regarding check writing be removed from the bylaws. It is the only financial policy that's in our bylaws, and it basically says any checks over $500 require 2 signatures. Is the gist of the policy. We know that asking to remove this bylaw is a strange request, but there are a few issues leading up to this, and I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about it. One of the things is inside this, in the bylaws, there is only one financial policy. That's it. That's the only financial policies currently on the books. We knew that we either had to beef up our financial policies within bylaws, or we needed to get that one financial policy out of bylaws into the rest of the financial policies. These financial policies change from time to time. Bylaws are difficult to change because they go all the way through the process to the church body for a vote. And so we wanted to pull that policy out of there. We wanted to put it with the rest of the financial policies to where they're being reviewed often, and to where they can be easily changed and modified as needed with changing times. We had a few issues with this particular policy. One came up when there was no me on staff. There was no administrative pastor on staff, and this particular policy that was in the bylaws basically really only called for that administrative pastor to be the signer. And then on top of that, everything would go through our stewardship committee. Our stewardship committee is a terrific group of volunteers. They do an unbelievable job for our church. They help us oversee financials. They help us make sure that our policies are straight. They help us do all kinds of things to make sure that we are very healthy financially in the church. They do that on a month-by-month basis. They meet up here, they review expenditures, they do all these different things. The way this policy was written really takes that that stewardship group out of that kind of monthly oversight as volunteers into a day-to-day operation role. We didn't feel like that was fair for those volunteers. The other thing is, every time that group of stewardship committee changed, we had to go back to the bank and redo signature cards and redo all of those things. For any of you that are out there that deal with big accounts like this, that deal with multiple signers on an account, then you understand the process that it takes to get those changed every single time we had a rollover. It was just a challenge to continually keep that up to date. So we knew we were needing to up our financial policies. We needed more to make sure we were in better shape. So our stewardship committee and our trustees got together, and we've been working for almost 2 years now to build a financial policy handbook. The financial policy handbook is very strong. Anybody that wants a copy of it can get it. You can just email me at craig@tcqc.org. You can call the church office and I will send you the whole financial handbook, and you can just take a look at it and read it. We're very proud of that document. It's very strong. And but the last step in completing that financial policy handbook is to get this one policy out of bylaws and into that book, which is where you come in. That's why the recommendation is coming from our stewardship committee and our trustees to just remove this policy from bylaws so we can put it where it belongs in that financial policy handbook and kind of even out where that's going. Some of the questions have been asked. We are not removing the toughness or the diligence of making sure that our financial expenditures are strong. We are still going to require 2 signatures on purchases, but I wanted to go through what it looks like in our financial policy handbook so that you know not only are we just removing this policy from bylaws, but we're actually stronger today than we were with that previous policy. The previous policy just said if you needed anything over $500, it required 2 signatures. Where we live today is this. This is coming out of the financial policy handbook. Any expenditures by a member of our staff have to be approved. They all have to either be approved through the budget process, or if it wasn't approved through the budget process, it has to come to my desk. And we've got to have a discussion as to why it's needed and why wasn't it in budget and all of those things. Even if it was approved in budget, if it's an expenditure over $100, we ask them to run that past my office and make sure that we have enough cash flow, to make sure it's the right time for the church, to make sure it's a good expenditure. Lots of different things that we ask through. So any expenditure over $100 has to come to my desk to make sure. We also have made a change to where no one within our financial office who writes a check can sign a check. So we have automatically 2 people in that process within our office seeing every check. One person who makes the check out and the next person who gets to sign the check. Any expenditures that we can't find a place for in budget, or that's a large budget expenditure, anything like that, we always take those to finance for discussion and approval. And so anything that's a large expense or anything that is just not currently in budget at all, we take to finance and they approve it before we make those approvals. We felt that the trustees were a better leg of the church to be a signer than the stewardship. They don't rotate near as much, and they actually are the legal representatives of the church. So when we make that change to the trustees are the signers instead of the stewardship committee, that puts them back in the role of being able to just review and make sure that we're healthy. Every single month, finance takes a look at all of our expenditures, takes a look at our finances to make sure we're healthy. They do that every month. And then lastly, any check over $2,500 would require 2 signatures. So we know that's a raise from $500. $500 honestly is too low of an amount according to our stewardship committee, and it's not uncommon. We want to just honor our trustees, and we feel like with everything else that we've gotten done ahead of that process, that there are lots and lots of ways to check and balance this thing. So I know that's a lot. It's a lot to say and it's a lot to hear, but I just wanted to let you know this is what this bylaw removal vote is about. If you have any other questions about it whatsoever, feel free to give me a call and we can sit down and talk through it. I can show you the whole thing. If you want a copy of that financial policy handbook, just let me know and we'll send it to you. I got to tell you, from my office and from the staff of the church and our finance committee, we were very excited about Sunday. Excited about you wanting to be involved and excited about so many questions being asked. That is a good thing in the life of our church. It just shows that we're healthy and that our members are concerned, and we as a staff have absolutely no problem answering any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, if you'd like to one of these days serve on our finance or personnel committee, let us know. We have strong committees and they do a good job, and we'd love to have you be a part of that. But if you have any other questions leading into this Sunday's vote, just call the office, 806-358-7681, and just give us a call and we'll be glad to answer those. So thanks for hanging in with us. This is a long video. Hopefully we answered all the questions that you guys had. So have a great week, and we'll see you on Sunday.